Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode number 10 of the Rundown. It has actually been quite some time since I've done one of these. I just can't seem to keep consistently doing them. But some pretty awesome news dropped today, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to do one of these, talk to you all about them, and mainly just give you my thoughts, because I have a lot of thoughts on the topics that we're going to be discussing today. It's awesome stuff here. But anyways, how are you all doing on this lovely Tuesday? Is it Tuesday? I guess it is Tuesday. Tuesday evening if you're on the East Coast, afternoon if you're on the West Coast. So yeah, we've got some pretty cool news here regarding Daniel Craig returning as James Bond. We're also going to be talking about Stephen Lang returning as the villain for all 4 Avatar sequels. We'll get into that a little bit later. And then we're going to close out the show talking about the trailer for Darren Aronofsky's new film, Mother. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's pretty great. We'll get into that a little bit later on, though. But to start everything off, you clicked on the video. Clearly, it's the reason you're here, unless you just love talking to me. But Daniel Craig. So it's been rumored and actually kind of reported here that he will, in fact, be returning for not 1, but 2 more Bond films. So we recently got confirmation that the 25th installment in the long-running James Bond franchise would be hitting theaters November of 2019, and there was a lot of talk about, Daniel Craig returning. Barbara Broccoli herself even stated that the goal was to lock Craig down for 1 more film, give him 1 more outing, and obviously they would reap the benefits at the box office and whatnot, but and all that. Anyways, and it would be kind of nice for us fans because we want to see him go out on a high note. And regardless what you thought of Spectre, it probably wasn't the best film for him to go out on. Let's just say it as it is. I mean, I enjoy Spectre for the most part. I don't think it's as bad as some people say. I also don't think it's as great as it could have been. It should have been. But anyways, so according to an article in The Sun, Barbara Broccoli has been heavily involved in negotiations with Craig to contract him for not only Bond 25, but Bond 26 as well. Now, if Craig were to sign on, that would put his film count up to 6, tying him with the original Bond himself, Mr. Sir Sean Connery. Mr. Sir, I guess it's just Sir Sean Connery. Now, naturally, I'm not including Never Say Never Again in that film resume. I just count the original 6. And then also putting him behind the late great Roger Moore, who did 7 pictures. So he would be up there in Bond greatness and legend if he were to sign on for 2 more films. So in this article, according to the author, a Bond insider stated the following: there was plenty of talk about who would be the next Bond, but Barbara has managed to talk Daniel into 2 more films. He's loved by audiences around the world. Obviously, everyone loves Daniel Craig, and has driven a real resurgence for the movies at the box office. So bosses knew they couldn't lose him just yet. That's an interesting statement. We'll come back to that. The script is nearly ready for the 25th film, provisionally titled Shatterhand, and scheduled to be released in November 2019. We're also going to come back to that title in a second. So there is no time to waste on getting Daniel locked in. But the deal is almost done, and the idea of returning to On Her Majesty's Secret Service for the 26th movie is really exciting. The film sees James get married only for his wife to be killed, so it would be an explosive way to end his reign as 007. Now, of course, he's referring here On Her Majesty's Secret Service to the film that originally was released in 1969. It starred George Lazenby. It was his only outing. And it actually happens to be one of the more underrated Bond films. In fact, I would say it is the most underrated Bond films. Oftentimes, I don't think people give it the chance simply because George Lazenby only did 1 film. So they're like, oh, he only did 1 film. It must have been pretty bad. He must have been pretty bad. Well, he wasn't the greatest actor. The film in of itself was fantastic. So there's no denying. If you have never seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service, you need to see it. It is a quintessential for any Bond fan. Film fan. So this is very, very interesting, and it seems like they're going to be doing an updated rendition of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Now, as much as I'd love to talk about what happens in the film, I mean, clearly you see there only his wife to be killed. It's better for you to see it. So little spoiler alert here. If you have not seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. This is something that I actually thought was going to happen in Spectre. I thought Spectre was actually going to be kind of an updated rendition of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. There was a lot of stuff in the trailers. Léa Seydoux' character I thought was going to be like the Trish, excuse me, Triss, not Trish, God. His wife. And I thought they were going to kind of play that out. There was some stuff pointing to just parallels between the original On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Spectre, and stuff that I saw in the trailer, and then obviously you see the movie and that's not the case. But I think they do set it up fairly well for On Her Majesty's Secret Service to be redone on the big screen. Obviously, Spectre gave us the introduction of Blofeld, Christoph Waltz's Blofeld. And while he may not have been used to his fullest potential in Spectre, there's no doubting that if Daniel Craig is returning for, even one more film, they're probably going to use Christoph Waltz's Blofeld and have him play a bigger role in the overall Bond universe than what he did in Spectre. So that gets me really excited because, first of all, Christoph Waltz is fantastic, and I actually enjoyed him quite a bit as Blofeld. I just thought he was underused. So going back to the quote here, we're talking about Shatterhand. The 25th film was provisionally titled Shatterhand, and it was scheduled to be released in November 2019. So it should be noted that Shatterhand, for you big James Bond buffs, and actually I had to have my friend tell me this, but I found it pretty interesting, should be noted that Shatterhand was Blofeld's name from the original novel of You Only Live Twice. So this definitely hints heavily at the return of Christoph Waltz's Ernst Stavro Blofeld, and not only On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but Blonde 25 as well. And it gets you thinking, are they going to maybe try and put a twist on the You Only Live Twice story as well? Not only the On Her Majesty's Secret Service? Maybe. We don't know, but I think it's pretty clear to see here that Christoph Waltz is going to play a pretty big part as the main antagonist in these next two films going forward, especially On Her Majesty's Secret Service, because in that film, that is the movie where James Bond finds love. He finds true love and he gets married. Now, we kind of saw that a little bit in Casino Royale with Vesper and whatnot, but he was ultimately betrayed. So it was kind of a learning experience for him. This, on the other hand, is Bond finding his soulmate, the woman he wants to spend the rest of his life with, and settle down with and ultimately get married to. And he does do that at the end of the movie. He's able to settle down with her, get married, and they drive off only to be murdered by Blofeld. And it's a pretty gut-wrenching finale to that film. Probably one of the darker endings to any Bond film, period. And like the article says here, it would be an explosive way to end his reign as 007. I think if you're going to do it, and believe me, I think On Her Majesty's Secret Service does need to be, I guess you could say updated, simply because not a lot of people have seen it. And I think if they're going to do it with Daniel Craig, that's the perfect way. That's the perfect way to end his long line of Bond films, simply because there's no, you don't have to tie into anything else. There's no extra baggage or whatnot. It's just like his wife is dead and he continues to be James Bond. He is unable to give up the life that he thought he could. And so that's the perfect way to give the next person or the next Bond their chance on screen. It's a great way to end a career and then ultimately have the next films kind of pick up with it. So a lot of really great stuff in here. I mean, it's really exciting to see that we're going to get Daniel Craig back, but it's even more exciting to see that we're going to get him back for 2 films. And on top of that, what really gets me giddy is the fact that we're going to be seeing On Her Majesty's Secret Service played out on screen again with Daniel Craig, have it be his swan song and whatnot. It's awesome. And like they said at the beginning here, he's driven a real resurgence for the movies. Let's face it, Die Another Day left a pretty bad taste in people's mouths. So if they were going to redo Bond and they were going to bring him, into, I guess, the 21st century a little bit, get him out of the little cheesiness, make him a little bit more serious, they were going to have to go dark, and that's what they did with Casino Royale, and Daniel Craig has been just explosive from the get-go. I mean, regardless of, he's had a few missteps here and there. Quantum of Solace was basically a Jason Bourne movie. Spectre wasn't as good as it could have been, but Daniel Craig's James Bond has given us some of the best Bond films to date. The man has made a lasting impact on the franchise, and I think these two films will be a great way for him to finish out his run. So, a lot of talk about there of James Bond, but what do you guys think? Are you excited for the potential of seeing On Her Majesty's Secret Service redone with Daniel Craig? Are you excited that Daniel Craig is going to be coming back for 2 more Bond films? I mean, this is not confirmed yet, but it is pretty substantial from what I understand. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the chat board if you're watching me live, or in the comment section below if you're watching this at a later date. All right, so moving on to the next topic here. It has to do with Stephen Lang and his return to Avatar. Excuse me. So, in an interview with Empire, James Cameron recently sat down with him, and he discussed his work on the upcoming Avatar sequels, saying the following. The interesting conceit of the Avatar sequels is it's pretty much the same characters. There are new characters and a lot of new settings and creatures, so I'm taking characters and putting them in unfamiliar places and moving them on this greater journey. But it's not a whole bunch of new characters every time. There's not a new villain every time, which is interesting. Same guy, same motherfucker through all 4 movies. He is so good, and he just gets better. I know Stephen Lang is going to knock this out of the park. He also goes on to talk about in a later excerpt from this interview how you can blame Peter Jackson for him wanting to create this Avatar saga thing, basically saying how Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings were just such an epic tale that spanned across 3 movies, and even though they were books first, the story just was really unlike anything we had ever seen. It was epic scale, and he wants to try and recreate that with Avatar. The Lord of the Rings movies gave him the bug to make his own massive epic franchise. So it is also interesting to note here that this will make Lang the 3rd character who died in the original Avatar to return. He'll obviously be joining the likes of Sigourney Weaver, who is somehow coming back. And there was another grunt in the original Avatar who's also returning, who I'm pretty sure was mauled by an animal on Pandora, but whatever, we'll see in the sequels. But it's just interesting because, while Stephen Lang was great in the original Avatar, in fact, I'd say he's probably one of the best parts of that movie, it's weird. It just seems like they're bringing everyone back from the original Avatar, and it's like, oh, okay, so there really weren't any stakes in the original Avatar. You're just going to bring them back, and that's it? All right, you don't want to introduce a new villain and then carry him on throughout the rest of the 4 films? I guess he doesn't want to do that. Yeah, at least for me, I feel like since he's making 4 more Avatar films, the first one could be a good look at as like a prequel, for instance, and then the next 4 could be one story that could be epic to all hell. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, we don't care about the franchise anymore, but let's face it, when you see that first trailer, you're going to get that Avatar bug back again and be fairly excited. Now, I mean, the original Avatar wasn't anything spectacular. I mean, it was just Dances with Wolves, with aliens, but, the visuals were great. James Cameron made incredible technological advancements. I can't even imagine what he's going to do in the sequels. I mean, I hear one is supposed to be like taking place completely underwater. Weird stuff. But the real question is, how on earth is he going to bring Stephen Lang back? And we might not know, but one thing's for certain, do not doubt James Cameron. The man has made some mega hits. Terminator 2, Titanic, if you're a fan of that, and then, True Lies, a bunch of other stuff. Oh, aliens, for crying out loud. I mean, the guy is just a hit machine. He knows how to make movies that audiences love. So if this was any other director, I'd probably be like, all right, man, you you go do this massive endeavor. Good luck with that. But, it's James Cameron. So we tend to trust in James Cameron. I think these 4 Avatar sequels are going to be something interesting. And with Stephen Lang returning as the villain, it'll be nice to see some more development in a I guess new arc for the character, because really he was just like a money-hungry, prejudiced army badass dick. I mean, I don't know. He didn't really have a whole lot of depth to his character. So if they're going to have him return in the sequels, I'd like to see them do something with him other than have him be just like a evil army man. Maybe he's getting revenge and stuff like that. Those would be cool arcs to see. But I'm still curious. How are they going to bring him back? I don't know. Only James Cameron knows, and I can't wait to find out. So, with that, let me know your thoughts and opinions on Stephen Lang's return to the Avatar films as the villain for the entire rest of the sequels, which is another side note here. Why did he just reveal that Stephen Lang was going to be in it for the next 4 films? Wouldn't that have been a nice surprise to see? And it's a little bit of a spoiler, too, because we know he's not going to die throughout the course of the sequels until maybe the 4th one. We know he's going to survive the whole thing, but anyways, leave me your thoughts and opinions in the chat board if you're watching me live, or in the comments section below. All right, moving on to our final topic here. We're talking about Mother. This is the new film from Darren Aronofsky. I believe it's coming out in September, so it was a little late to be getting a first trailer here. But anyways, this was a movie I was really looking forward to, mainly because it's Darren Aronofsky, and he, whether you like him or not, the man knows how to make interesting films. I think Black Swan is probably my favorite of his. Absolutely fantastic movie. He had a little bit of a misstep, I think, with Noah, but Requiem for a Dream, probably not one I'll ever watch again, but still interesting. And yeah, I find him to be a very fascinating director. He tackles dark themes, gets great performances out of characters, or out of actors. Characters. The actors really just become the characters in his movies. So yeah, I was very much looking forward to Mother, very curious as to when they were going to be releasing the first trailer. They released it, and oh my god. We're in for a wild ride here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very dark and kind of disturbing trailer. I mean, a lot of his movies, like I said, a lot of his movies are dark, so this comes as no surprise, but this one almost had like horror vibes towards the end. Very, very creepy stuff. We've got Jennifer Lawrence in here. We've got Javier Bardem. They have some sort of relationship. I really don't know the relationship between their characters, but it seems like Javier Bardem is up to some shady stuff, and Jennifer Lawrence is just kind of like stuck here. It also seems like they're dealing with paranormal type things going on. I don't really know. These people come over, and it just all hell breaks loose on this house. Honest to God, I couldn't even tell you what the story is for this film, other than it really captured my interest and seemed like something that is going to be very, very interesting to watch on screen. But yeah, I overall, I thought the trailer was great. It was a great first taste at the movie, but at the same time, I think that they probably should have released this trailer maybe a couple months earlier if the film is in fact coming out in September, which I believe it is. Last time I checked, it was. But yeah, it's just it's really dark, gritty, paranormal type stuff going on. You don't trust Javier Bardem, obviously, because in every single film, he seems to be a wacko. He's good at playing those kinds of characters. So it'll be nice to see Javier Bardem step into one of those characters again. Also, this is the first time that Darren Aronofsky is going to be working with Jennifer Lawrence, which should be an interesting combo. We saw what kind of performance he got out of Natalie Portman in Black Swan. Maybe he can get one just as good out of Jennifer Lawrence in this film. But anyways, it was just a great trailer. If you haven't seen the trailer for Mother, go check it out. Highly, highly recommend. This is going to be one of my more anticipated films of the fall movie season. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on the trailer for Mother in the comment section below or the chat board if you're watching me live. And just like that, guys, it's all over. That's it for the rundown for this installment. Did you enjoy this? Or leave me your thoughts and opinions on the topics discussed here in the comments section below. And then also be sure to like this video, share it with all your movie news loving friends, all your James Bond friends, because I'm curious as to how you guys are feeling on that topic in particular. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel for more movie reviews, movie-related content. I try and do this show as much as I can. Doesn't always happen, but you do get movie reviews every week, so you can look forward to that content. I might not have one out for Annabelle this week, or it might be late. I'm going to a wedding, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, and then you can also like Men vs. Movies on Facebook and follow us on Twitter simply by searching Men v Movies. And lastly, guys, if you like me specifically and you like what I have to say, you can always give me a follow on Twitter at Griff Schiller. All right. Thanks for watching this installment of The Rundown, guys. We'll catch you next time. Take care.